country and the future of the Republican Party. While our party has bestowed upon him the nomination, it is not accompanied by unfettered license to defame those who are the best among us. I'm curious what your response is to John McCain, to Mac Thornberry, the chairman of the Armed Services Committee, to Roy Blunt, the senator from Missouri, who put out a similar statement. Who else do we hear from? Mike Hoffman from Colorado. There are a lot of Republicans now putting out these statements, Scotty. What's your message to them?
Well, my message to them is, first of all, I put more stock in people like Senator Jeff Sessions than I do anything that John McCain says, and there's a reason why. And I assure you, with John McCain right now in a very pretentious, and Jeff Sessions has come out and explained, with John McCain in a very contentious race right now, that I would encourage him. Everything he's doing right now is political, so I don't put into much what he says.
But John McCain is John McCain is one of the most celebrated war heroes we have in this country. I mean, John McCain is well respected on issues regarding anything regarding military, especially military families.
But he's already shown his bias, his anti-Trump bias along this whole way. In fact, that's the one thing that has been the biggest pain to deal with, is having to deal with people like McCain, Graham, others whose egos are hurt that the American people, that the Republicans, those that actually in the party have chosen Mr. Trump over them. So I really don't put much stock in them. But here's let me just point out why this is actually going to help Mr. Trump, I think, in the end. Because look at this panel itself. Outside of you and John being very fair in your questioning, you're in a panel, we've seen it all weekend, 4 versus 1. There is never, and that is why the American people are watching these segments and saying, wait a minute, maybe this is more politically motivated. This is what they're focusing on. They're not talking about yesterday, Hillary Clinton actually sitting there once again doubling down against the Benghazi soldiers' mother, sitting there.
Scotty, we're going to continue that conversation. That is part of our conversation that we're going to be having, and you're going to be part of that conversation after a commercial break. But criticizing the makeup of a panel does not help the argument for Donald Trump.
But it does help, because it shows the continued media bias that you want to sit there and you want to harp on him on these issues, and you're forgetting the other issues on the other side. Hillary Clinton lied during her speech.
Less than 25%.
She lied about she lied about the girl in the wheelchair in 1973. We've not talked about the issues on the other side. There's not a fair vetting process right now within the media.
Scotty, look at the images on the screen right now. You have Rich Galen, who is a longtime respected Republican, who is on this panel, as well as you. This makeup of this panel, I'm not going to get into a disagreement about. We have a long-time relationship with you on the show. You know that we are fair.
You, the host, are fair. Yes, Rich, unfortunately, has been a long-time person who's criticized Mr. Trump. But this, and you're not actually looking at Mr. Khan. You are not looking at actually what his motivation, his ties are, his background is. He's not somebody that they just randomly picked from the floor. He is somebody that was, has ties to law firms that have ties to the Clinton Global Initiative. There's a lot more to this story right now that we're not covering, because it's not the easy thing. For a long time, the Democrats have used this type of idea of using someone, a victim, to cover for the story. We saw it back in '94 when, or in 2000. So
you question Mr. Khan's motivations. You think that he has some. You think that no matter what his background is for any, I have no idea what you're talking about, what law firm he's connected to. You don't think he has a right to stand on a stage and voice his opinion as a Gold Star family?
He has, of course, he has the right to. We all have the constitutional right, but he had the right up there to sit there and honor his son. But in doing that, he could have actually done a much better job of promoting how wonderful this country is, instead of sitting here and bashing and pointing out the hate, and sitting there throwing and going on a media tour the last 3 days to discredit Mr. Trump.
Your candidate attacked a grieving mother, and you're concerned that you can't find more people.
Scotty, let Marty talk. You just talked for a long time.
Marty, go ahead.
Yeah, your argument is that we can't find more people to agree with Trump's decision to attack a grieving mother, that there should be 50% of a panel that agrees with attacking a grieving mother. I'm sorry. I mean, this is so beyond the pale. It's so egregious. It's dominated the news deliberately because that's what Trump does. And of course we're talking about it because it's outrageous. It's disgusting.
Your candidate attacked a grieving mother 2 times.
Hang on, Scotty. Hang on. There are 4 people on this panel. We've got to let other people talk, including lifelong Republican Rich Galen. Rich, I just want to get your take on where this discussion is going.
Well, having been married for 44 years, I know better than to get in between that two women who are having a spirited debate. I got that part. But let me just say this. I was in favor of Donald Trump. I tried to defend him. I tried to be for him. I tell you when I fell out of love with him, Scotty, is when he got off the reservation on that the federal judge calling him a Mexican when it was his own personal case that was being tried, had nothing to do with the campaign. That's when I fell out of love with him. So don't say that I've always been. No, well, but let me just say I could do in one word what you took 45,000 words just to say. I want to repeat, iron. Every time you get into this thing, you're extending that iron into this star, and I'm telling you, you're going about this the wrong way.
Guys, stand by. We have a lot more to discuss. Segment we've already planned for. As Scotty, we would find out if we just took a commercial.
Clarified his position right there. He absolutely clarified what
he said. When I said it was daytime, I really meant it was night, and you have to believe that.
And see, and you wonder why I say that this panel is not, that it's not necessarily fair and balanced.
Oh my God, Scotty, really? If you want to waste more airtime talking about the weight of the panel, go right ahead. I actually am very surprised that you were going this route rather than making a cogent argument for your candidate. Rich, Galen, respond.